That was one of the areas we were all kind of looking at coming into this season about where you guys are at right now.
What about us?
What would you say about where the defensive line is at right now as far as the level?
I feel like every day we try to execute and get better and just do good at our technique and just, don't try to rush and make a play. We just try to really be in the system and just like really hone into what we have to do as a unit. And I feel like doing that, everything else will be in place. It starts up front with the guys up front, offense and defense.
Would you say it's more assignment? You guys have been more assignment sound this year than maybe you were at times last year?
I feel like we were, and I feel like we just went in, did a whole bunch more film study and whatnot, and I feel like we're doing better right now. We just got to be more consistent, I feel like.
Hey, speaking of Mark Webb's birthday, do you guys have a system where you keep up with everybody's birthday? Do they have like a board in there in the locker room so you know it's his birthday? Or how'd you know it was his birthday?
I mean, through Instagram posts, but I mean, it's been talks about, Webb birthday coming up, and everybody knew, so I mean, that's how it really is. And then everybody posts on Instagram, so I mean, somebody gonna know. I mean, it's gonna come out eventually.
So it's not like Coach Sinclair goes through and puts a balloon on their locker?
Oh, no, it ain't all that now. Hey, I mean, after your 21st birthday or whatever birthday it is, nobody really cares anymore. It's just another day.
That's true.
So you said you guys watch a lot more film. What are kind of some of the things that you point out to the younger guys that you're really trying to teach them when they first get in here?
Just like understanding blocks, understanding back sets, knowing what teams' tendencies are, coaching changes because they tend to have the same tendencies they had at old schools. So just knowing those keys and then them knowing the playbook and whatnot, the game is going to come by faster to them. Because if you know the tendencies of the offense and whatnot, you'll play faster, you'll be more fundamentally sound. So that's really what I try to teach them and stuff like that.
How similar is this squad that you're facing this week offensively to the one you just played in Murray State? Are they similar?
Last week is last week. Arkansas State is a really good team, and I feel like we're just focusing on them. Like, we played Murray State, they were a good team, they gave good effort, but we just out-executed them that day. And I feel like we just need to go out there and out-execute Arkansas State on this. So I couldn't compare those two.
It sounds like generally they want to throw the ball around, spread out, go fast. I don't know. How would you describe Arkansas State?
I feel like they're a really fundamentally sound team. I mean, they run the ball well. They know how to, cut back. The running back's really good. They have really tall receivers. The quarterback really knows where he wants to go with the ball. So I feel like they're really fundamentally sound, and I feel like we need to out-execute them in that realm.
Kirby was talking about some of the road locker rooms in the SEC. He said we should do a story on this because some of them are so bad.
Oh, yeah, they are terrible.
I was going to say, you've probably been down there, all of them. Are there a couple few that stand out that you think, man, that trip in particular, that stadium?
Right off the bat right now, Vanderbilt's locker room was like, we didn't have nowhere to stretch. And then being home this weekend, I was like, I forgot what it felt like to have so much room, like just to stretch out and whatnot, because their locker room is so bad. But I'm like, it's not supposed to be pleasant. You feel me? You got another team coming in, and then it's like you don't want them to have a lavish locker room. But I understand why they do that. But still, come on, at least have it bigger. We don't need all the fancy stuff, but it is what it is.
You say do that. What do you mean? Is when you say no room to stretch, just how congested is it? Like being on an airplane?
Like how you sitting right there with this camera right here and this camera right here. That's how lockers are set up. And then you just imagine me standing next to Jordan Davis or Tyler Clark, and it's like, man, come on now, we need room. Like, we big boys. And then there's like a small little bench, man. We ain't trying to do all that.
Kirby talked a couple weeks ago about you were a guy that benefited a lot from playing on the scout team. I think was it 2017, and then at the end of that year you ended up starting against Georgia Tech. What do you remember about kind of how you developed over that year to, like you said, earn that starting spot?
We had Isaiah Wynn, Solomon Kinley, then you had Lamont Galliard, then you had Trey rotating in, then you had Ben Cleveland and Isaiah Wilson. And I had to go against them every day. So it's like one of them days you're going to have to get better somehow. Iron sharpens iron. That's what he always taught us. But it's just going against those guys every day. You tired of just getting bullied in the dirt and whatnot. So after a while, you just know, man, just shut off the block and just, do what the coach wants. So.
How much do you share that experience with the younger guys on the scout team now that might be frustrated with being on the team, saying, hey, look, I did it, look where I am now? Like
how Kirby says, trust the process. I didn't want to hear none of that while I was going through it, but you really have to trust the process because every day you're not going to win. You're going to go out there and get beat around and whatnot. It's like a game plan. You have a set game plan that you want to run and whatnot, but it doesn't really go right. So you just really got to go with the motion, be where the ball's at. So basically that's what you got to do on scout team.
And as the defensive lineman, I guess you're not getting 5 tackles a loss every game, stuff like that. Like, how do you try to affect the game in ways that may or may not show up on the stat sheet?
Just taking those offenders off of like our linebackers to free them up, free up everybody else. So it's like, say if we're running the game and whatnot, just free up linebackers so they can make plays and whatnot. Because really, it's a team effort. If they win, we win. So it's like if it's a defensive win, the whole team wins. So do whatever the team needs.
As somewhat of a quieter guy, you got the humble over hype bracelet on there. Is that kind of how you try to, is that kind of how you describe your role on the, on the defensive line there?
I mean, I just try to remain humble, through all the hype. Because, even I started wearing these ever since the national championship, because it's like you really have to remain humble because everybody's like honing in on you, just saying, oh, George is this, George is good in this. And we get in meeting rooms, we're like getting, really fussed out because we're not doing things right and it's not to the standard. There's a Georgia standard, so you really just remain humble and just do what you're supposed to do, and then things will come.
Going back to being on the scout team, was there any like one in particular offensive lineman that you just lined up every day against? You're like, damn, I had to go against this guy again.
Oh, definitely Saul and Drew. I'm like those, and Isaiah went for that year as well. Because like Isaiah was just a really a different guy. He went first round. The guy was just different, and I see that in Drew and I see that in Saul as well. And those guys are just like different. Like when they running the ball downhill and they want the ball to go right there, I'm pretty sure it's going to go right there because those are two heavy guys that you have to hold up. Just imagine holding up 600 pounds every day. That gets tiring. So I just feel I'm glad they're on my team. That's all I gotta say.
Michael, I know you got your playing career ahead of you, but have you thought about coaching when it's all done? Is that one of your goals? Because you talk a lot like a coach, and your teammates talk about you like you're a coach.
No, I thought about it. It is. I don't really know, but I don't really have patience to be a coach. So I guess that's a growing thing as you mature and get older. But I feel like I could be later down the road. I don't really know.
You're still thinking about bigger and better things in football.
Oh, yes,
right
sir.
now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely. But right now, I'm focused on Arkansas State, one game at a time.
Do you have to work on your patience being a leader with some of these younger guys on the defensive line like Jordan and Trayvon, working with guys like that?
Yeah, because I just know with myself it was a process. So at the same time, I know with them it's going to be a process. So it's just like you're not going to know everything that I know in a day's work or a week's worth. It comes with time. But I just want this last year and even in the spring, even through the summer, I just wanted them to know like the game plan, the base, our base unit, the defense, our base this and that. So they'll just have an understanding, and then when we start adding new stuff, it's just like you can group these together. So I just really try to hone in on that to them.
More questions?
Anybody else?
You mentioned the bad locker room. Is there a good road locker room? Is there one that you said, this is?
From my whole time being here, I think when we went to the SEC championship, that was a good locker room. And Notre Dame's away locker room wasn't that bad. So I feel like that was the best too, and they're not even the SEC, so that's all I can remember as of right now.
Is that as good as it gets, just not that bad, for other colleges?
Yeah, it's not Georgia locker room, so I don't really care. At the end of the day, we just out there to play ball. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate